Come on, StreamYard. Oh. Hello, everybody. There was the slightest hiccup because StreamYard's like, wait, the connection, but I'm like, let's just go. Let's just go. I don't want to keep you ladies waiting. I don't want to keep anybody waiting. But I am here today with the fabulous Amanda Deibert and Kat Staggs.
Hello.
A dynamic duo. And we wanted to talk about a little bit about our current Darkwing Duck Kickstarter. It's going on right now. We have our current series by Amanda, and we have Mega Duck and Justice Ducks, and we even have the Disney Afternoon series that's being reprinted, and we have a facsimile edition of the original 1992 comic. So, what did you guys think about when we're announcing this big Darkwing Duck collection? How's it feel to be a part of it?
I think it's awesome. I think it's going to be cool. You know, the fans are so Darkwing Duck fans are really passionate. So I think people are going to love it. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, it looks it's pretty spectacular. Seeing all the resurgence and how much everyone really, really loves it.
I was lucky enough to speak with Tad Stones a couple weeks ago, and he's been a fan of everyone's work. So how's that feel to hear? I don't know if anyone's told you guys.
That's what you want.
Yeah. But he's been really impressed with everyone's work, and he's been such a great guy to talk to, and because he's also talking about the Kickstarter with us, with everyone we know.
It's awesome.
I wanted to. We got comments coming in from YouTube. Hello, Devil Flyer. Thank you for joining us. It means a lot. Amanda, I've been lucky enough to talk to you a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
So is it okay? Like, if I had a couple questions for Kat, because again, I'm getting to know her. So
please do.
Kat, I wanted to ask. So, were you into Darkwing Duck before this new series came about, or what was your relationship with the show?
I wasn't really. I saw it. I was way older when that came out. But I know. I know what it is.
I apologize for the noise outside. I'm at home right now. I'm sorry to the audience, and there's yard work. I'm sorry if anyone can hear that. I'm very sorry.
But yeah, no, I was older, but I knew of it. I still watched a lot of cartoons and stuff. So I did see it. But yeah, I'm very familiar with it.
I'm trying to remember, were you guys asked separately for artwork and the writing?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I was asked to do the art, and then I think was it after I turned in my first script?
Yes.
That Nate asked you to do some covers. Yeah. So it was, I was already working on it. And then, with how Dynamite does, just variant covers more than anyone. So many. And so then Kat was asked to do them. And they are some of my favorites, but I am also very biased. But even if I weren't, they are some of my favorites.
And Kat, your covers, I like asking every artist, how do you adapt your art to something that's very famous already? Like, how do you adapt to the Disney style? And
this was a real challenge for me, because I wanted to render it like crazy, and I was trying not to, because I don't normally work in this particular style. Mm-hmm. So it was a big challenge for me to not overwork it. I had to make myself stop.
Oh, okay. But now your covers specifically, they're very the vintage pulpy, really what inspired Darkwing Duck. Is that what you thought of immediately when you were asked to do the covers? Or?
Yes, I was basically doing the Darkwing Duck version of the Shadow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was. I know that was a big inspiration for it. So I was doing some.
I think some were more Shadow, some were more Batman specific.
Right.
Did you have a favorite which you did, or?
I liked the two with Morgana the most, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Was what, number 4, number 9, I think. Those were my favorite two. And number 2, the one with the rubber ducks. I liked that one a lot.
Did you guys do joint research, or was it separate research when working on this series?
I mean, it was pretty separate because I had already, you know, by the time Kat came on board, I had already come up with a concept for the arc and was already, like, you know, in the process of doing the deep dive. But of course, you know, doing as far as research of, I was the first thing I did was go back and rewatch the 90s series, obviously, with our daughter. And so it was on a lot. So even before Kat came on board, she was part of the research, whether she wanted to be or not. But then, so yeah, we were both definitely like revisiting things. And it does make it nice when we're both working on the same thing, because then we are talking about it. We are like, oh, I came across this, or, oh, what about this character? And so like, then it kind of is helpful to both of us, which is nice.
Yeah. And I pretty much just, I just needed the gist of the story, so I tried to come up with something that was related to the story somewhat inside. So it wasn't just completely random cover.
Did you kind of sort of become a fan of the show, or did you get into it a little bit?
Oh,
or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's really clever.
I just thought of this now. What's been some of the favorite cartoons growing up with? Like, if it wasn't so much like the Disney stuff, what'd you like watching?
For me?
Yeah.
Growing up for me was like Super Friends and Scooby-Doo and Thundercats and you know, He-Man, all that kind of stuff.
Still all good stuff.
Yeah.
I've heard they did a very good He-Man reboot.
They really did do a really good He-Man reboot on Netflix. I know one of the writers. She's really great.
Thinking back with your Darkwing covers, and what would you like? What's your inspiration for your art? What's your spark been? I mean, you've done, besides adapting for Disney, now you're mainly DC. So what got you into drawing? What got you?
Oh man, I mean, you mean drawing in general, or particularly for this project?
Either or.
Oh, okay. Well, for drawing in general, I don't remember not. I think I was drawing before I was actually writing. But I tend to really, when I get on a new project, not only the story, but I also tend to try and figure out something related to it that I can kind of manipulate into the subject matter. Like for the Darkwing, I was like wanted to do Sends Up to the Shadow. I wanted it to be pulpy. I want it to look like the old magazines, you know. So I try and find something fun for every project that will keep me interested, especially if they go on for a long time.
Do you have a favorite character of any project you've worked on that you've drawn?
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's so many. There's so many. I mean, you know, superheroes, Wonder Woman, Superman. You know, then outside of that, you know, I get to do Star Wars. I did a lot of Star Wars work for a long time. Yeah, it's there's too many to name. I can be here all day naming favorites.
It's still really cool. I thought I'd get a better idea since having the both of you here. So, can you guys walk me through a regular day with the two of you? Like, what's a work day?
Sure. Well, it depends on, because we have a daughter who's 9, so it depends on if it's during the school year a lot. Like right now it's summer vacation, so we're gonna go swimming with her friends later this afternoon in our backyard. But usually we both get up really early. So usually, and by that I mean like Kat gets up at like 4 and I get up at like 5. Like we start our work day super early. And both get I get some writing done, she gets some art done before our daughter gets up. Then I kind of put a pin in it, make her some breakfast. If it's a school day, it's get her ready to school. We walk her to school. Then we come home. I make the second pot of coffee. And then we go back into work because like we're trying to get as much done kind of earlier in the day so that in the afternoon we're hanging out with her. And it's me, like Kat has a little studio in the back of our house, which has all her like art stuff. And then I am at the dining room table with my laptop, but they're right next to each other. So we can do a whole like, hey babe, I just wrote this. Can I read it out loud to you and see if it makes sense to you?
Yeah,
you know,
like, does this look okay? Is this what you were intending for this to be? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So we ask each other for feedback a lot, even if we're not working together on something, because she is an artist and because I am a writer, like we can understand what it, you know, like she can be like, I'm going for this. Does it make sense? Does it read on the page? And I can say like, if you read this as an artist, would you know what I meant? Or like, does this make sense to you? Is this going to work? So like we do, even when we're not collaborating, we're pretty collaborative on our, like, this is what we're doing. So it's either like totally silent and we're both working, or we're, you know, interrupting each other to ask questions.
Do you get your daughter's opinion on stuff like this?
Yes. Especially kids content. There's a thing that I don't think we can talk about yet that we're working on together. But it has to do with a property that is our daughter's like favorite. So she has had a lot of feedback. Like I have run everything by her. I read the whole script to her. She gave me her notes and thoughts on it. She's ready to critique Kat's art.
Yeah, as soon as I get the go ahead, I'm ready for her critique.
So she's when it's things like that, she's really into it. But even like even when I'm doing things like the Teen Titans Go or something, she'll like pop in and be like, what about this joke? Or you know, with Darkwing Duck, obviously she watched all the Darkwing Duck episodes with me, and like she reads it and thinks it's fun. So it's when it's we work on adult stuff too, and like the horror comics and stuff, obviously she can't she's not old enough to read because it's very adult. But the kids content she loves to get feedback on.
That's really cool. Is she into writing or drawing? Is she kind of doing it?
Very much. She and her best friend actually spent all the school year last year making a comic together that they would do in their free time. So like at recess, at lunchtime, they started doing it. It's called Sushi Escape. And it's basically about these little sushis that have to escape an evil chef who's, you know, trying to imprison them. And like her bestie did all the art and drew it all. And then she wrote it and they work together. And then she also does like, you know, she does the lettering because it's just the two of them. And so like she, you know, and so they've been working together on this, and it's like huge and long. And then their school librarian let them make their own little posters that said like coming soon Sushi Escape and put it up. And then the school librarian is putting their comic in the school library so that all the other kids can, it's been a whole thing. And it was completely there. We had nothing to do with it. It's so cute.
Did that all on their own.
How does that feel though? You're like, your daughter's following your footsteps. How does that?
They're very proud.
So proud. The other hilarious thing, so we go to conventions a lot, and there was a convention and she was like looking, and you know, she's seeing Kat
who's in DC
doing commissions and, you know, selling prints of art and whatever. And then she was like, I want to sell some art. And we're like, okay, you can have this little corner of the table. And like, you know, so she started doing like little $5 like drawings for people. And then people started commissioning her, and she ended up making like a significant amount of money for her age. And then she was like, I want a banner. And I was like, that's for professionals. And she was like, Mom, I'm making money. I'm a professional. And then it actually ties into Darkwing. A Darkwing fan bought one of the sketch covers, you know, the just the blank covers that you can get of comics and have artists do commissions on them. And so he bought a Darkwing Duck sketch cover, but he commissioned our daughter to do it and do a Darkwing Duck on the cover. And she did. And then he took it and got it CGC graded. So she has, our 9-year-old has a CGC graded Darkwing Duck cover.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It was really
incredible.
Yeah, so she's living her best life.
Yeah.
That's so odd. Like, does she think like she's learned enough from the both of you, or does she keep asking questions about like making a story or how like or writing? And
she asks whenever she has a question about anything. She's very open about asking and getting advice for stuff,
especially with like art stuff. You know, like if she's having trouble drawing something, she'll get frustrated, and then she'll go to Kat and be like, I can't figure out how to do this, and then Kat will try to give her, either like something to look at to help her for reference, or like, hey, if you do this first and then do this, it's helpful. She's got the at-home expert over here.
Has doing series like this bring in a whole new fan base for you?
Yeah. I am, and I think I might have said this to you before we talked, but I've worked on a lot of large IPs, and so has Kat, things like Star Wars and Wonder Woman and Batman and Scooby-Doo, like these things that are very big and very loved. So when I was a fan of Darkwing Duck, I watched the cartoons growing up, I was into it. So like nostalgically, it appealed to me and I was excited to do it. But I was not prepared at all for the level of excitement that people have and passion that people have for Darkwing Duck. Like I thought that when it got announced, it was going to be like any of the other like big property comics, which, there's excitement. It's cool. But it was so overwhelming. Like just people were so excited and have continued to be. And still when we're at conventions, people will see Kat's covers and just, be like, oh my God. And people will just start singing the theme song, like, or they'll be wearing, their Darkwing Duck t-shirt. And like, it's a really, really passionate fan base and, different from some of the other fan bases that we've interacted with in the past.
Have newer Darkwing Duck fans like reached out to you? Like they got to know Darkwing Duck through this new series?
I haven't been contacted by anybody like that, but I guess the closest to that is there have been parents who have come to the table like at conventions with their kids and been like, this was a fun way for me to introduce something that I loved as a kid to my kids. So I think like the generation that's like our kids' age, the elementary school kids now are getting introduced to Darkwing through this newer comic, and then their parents are like, hey, let's go watch the TV show. So I think it has created some newer fans that way.
Yeah, that's always really fun with these things, is reintroducing them to the next generation of fans. That's always a blast.
Do you think this Kickstarter could also do the same? Like the already hardcore Darkwing fans who get these new collections, now they can pass them on and say, check this out.
So especially with so many different things in it, there's like a little bit of something for everybody with the different runs from different times and whatever. I think it'll be really cool.
I think anything else we can bring, like anything in Darkwing Duck's future that you guys know about or are allowed to hint at, or like
nothing that I know about. If I were ever asked to come back to Darkwing Duck, I would love to. I definitely have another idea ready to go, but nothing is in the works that I know of. There may be things in the works with other people that I don't know about, and that is great too.
It's the same. I would love to do more stuff like that. I had a real blast doing them just because it was so different for me.
Are you guys allowed to say anything else about what you guys are working on together, or we're going to keep it under lock and key for right now?
So that the one thing that we talked about before we can't announce yet. We also have in the adult area of stuff. The other thing we're collaborating on is we have with Storm King Comics. We have a horror graphic novel that's already out that's called Death Mask, and then right now we are working on volume 2 of Death Mask, which Kat is drawing. I've already written the script for it, so like that's pretty far in the works. And then we usually collaborate on a story every year for John Carpenter's Tales for Halloween Night. So we have that one coming out as well. The next volume of that is that volume 10, volume 10 coming out. That'll be in September. So that, but those are both, you know, adult horror, not necessarily introducing your children to it, but great for the adult.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you guys got coming out. I can't wait to see what, like, does your daughter think she can actually get this like out for real, or or is she just gonna keep it for her friends?
I mean, we'll see. I think she would love to. I think at some point we will see something from her. But.
Yeah, because I mean, she's CGC official now, so like,
right? Talk about a nepo baby.
I'm excited to see what comes from all of you guys. So thank you so much to both of you for sitting with me today to talk about Darkwing and to talk about you guys and your daughter. That was very special. Thank you for sharing. I hope everyone checks out your work. I hope everyone checks out the Kickstarter. The link for it is in the description below. So thank you again, ladies. Thank you to everyone for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day and goes out to read some comics.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This was fun.
Thank you, ladies.